What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel and I am the co-founder of Flourish Lashes. If you guys have been following my channel, you know that I talk all about tips, tricks, lashing, all of that good stuff. But as you grow, I grow, we grow together. So we are now switching things up, and these next few videos are going to be all about how to scale your business and take yourself to that next level. This video in particular, we are talking all about adaptability when it comes to your lash students. Now, I have spoken to so many lash artists that have been trying to break into the lash education world, and I cannot wait to get you guys started. But something that I notice is we're constantly breaking down ourselves. Like, the first thing that we think about is, I don't have the confidence, I don't have the expertise, like I just don't have enough experience to educate others. And we're all like, I don't want to be a scam, I don't want people to leave my training and feel like, hey, I didn't get what it was worth. And I completely understand that, because that's exactly where I started, and I'm sure a ton of us have started there or gotten a training where we feel like it was a complete scam. Now, one of the ways where we're going to avoid the scamish behavior and have your students actually feel like they got the most out of their training is by one word: adaptability. Being adaptable, being flexible, and being able to understand your students' level of communication is going to make the experience so much more personalized and make them feel like this was made for them. Now, that being said, I know that you guys are not all doing one-on-one trainings. We do group trainings as well, and that is completely fine. But something that I am absolutely against is big group training. And the reason why is because every single person learns differently. Not only that, but what we're teaching is a very technical skill. So when we have 15 people in a class, that level of personalization is so hard to come by, and even being adaptable is going to be that much harder. So when we're talking about adaptability and making sure that our students are going to be able to progress, we need to shorten those groups. We need to make sure those groups are a bit smaller. So I would say anywhere around 5 to 7 is a great number. And at that point, we can still give our students that one-on-one time that they absolutely deserve. Now, when it comes to actually being adaptable, this is where it gets not necessarily tricky, but you have to do your research and you have to learn about this stuff. And this is something that we also teach in our Lash Educator Accelerator program, because it is so crucial when it comes to creating a full, well-rounded program where your students are going to be successful. There's a formula, there's a process that we have to follow, but this is definitely a key aspect when we're looking at creating a program for our students. So being adaptable means understanding your students' body language. So not only their body language, but their tonality. How do they look when you're saying certain things? Are they leaning in? Are they leaning back? Are their arms folded? Do they just look disengaged? Because if that's the case, disengaged, unengaged, not engaged, whatever it is, if they don't look like they're feeding off every word that you're saying, not necessarily every word, but if they don't look just uninterested in general, chances are you're doing something wrong. Now, how do we fix that? Simple. Learning your student is key. Being able to have personal conversations with them before you actually go into your trainings is going to open them up so much more. If someone is going, and you can think back to yourself, if you are going into something and you have absolutely zero emotional connection to it, chances are you're immediately going to be closed off. And this is just subconsciously as well. If we have zero emotional attachment to something, we're just not going to be as invested. And even if we're paying a high price point, we want to make sure that there's a level of personalization, there's a level of emotional connection, because if we do that, then our students are actually going to retain so much more. Think about everything you're saying in your lash training. Think about everything that you have to explain. They're not going to remember all of it. And for you to expect them to remember all of that is honestly just wild. And that's another issue to tackle on another day. But today we're talking about adaptability, and really understanding that level of communication with your student is going to make it so much easier for you to have a good understanding of what they understand versus what they don't understand, and kind of see how they move or how their body language reacts when you talk about certain things. So for instance, if we had a personal conversation with one of our students and we start getting into a little bit of their life, a little bit of their backstory, we can see how negative things versus positive things come through in their body language, or come through in the way that they say what they're saying. And we can see how certain emotions may change their facial expression, or even the way they're standing, sitting, whatever the case is. Now, we take that information, keep it in the back of our head, so when we are doing our education program, we're training them and we're going through the program, and we can see them be a little bit more hesitant on certain things because we've already experienced it with them when they spoke about certain things, then it's gonna make it easier for us to understand, like, hey, okay, maybe we need to go back a second, reword it, or just ask the question, like, hey, how do you feel about this? Do you think that we're progressing okay? Is there something you want me to clarify? And then sometimes it's about not re-saying what you said, because chances are if they didn't understand it the first time, you say it back the second time, you're just repeating yourself for no reason. Now you need to take a second to understand that they didn't understand that first method. Okay, now what do? We think of another way that we can say it. Now, maybe it's not just about saying it. Maybe we pull out a visual. Maybe we draw something out. Maybe we reference it to a separate experience. Maybe we reference it to a metaphor. Whatever the case is, we have to make that adaptability shift. We have to pivot. We have to be flexible. And we have to be able to understand when these moments arise, because that's what makes us a good educator. If we can see point blank on their face that they're not getting this point, then we have already set the bar pretty high as an educator, because now we're catering to our students. We're paying attention to them. We're investing in them. And the more we invest in them, the more they're going to invest in us and invest in our program and be so much more receptible to the information that we're giving, participate more, be more engaged. Therefore, it's a win-win on both ends. Their momentum's higher, your momentum's higher. Therefore, you can be a better educator, and then they, in turn, have a much better experience as a student, and they do end up thriving in a better manner than they would have if it was just a cookie cutter experience with lack of emotion, lack of personality, lack of that personalization. I promise you guys, this is such a key point when it comes to being an educator. And like I said, like, I've had my own experience with this, and I will never forget it. I have so many more tips when it comes to being a great educator, but one thing I really want to emphasize on you guys is that these are tips. I want to teach you the process, understanding the process of what it takes to be a great professional lash educator. I have created the program for you. So if you guys have heard or not heard of it yet, it is our Lash Educator Accelerator program. We are hosting a webinar on Friday, so I will leave the link in the description and you guys can jump on that, and it's gonna be 3 secrets on how to be a lash artist transforming into a lash educator. So don't miss that. You really want to be a part of that, I promise you guys. But that is it for this video. I hope that you guys liked it. I hope that it was helpful. If you guys want more tips like this, leave them in the comments, but also head over to our Instagram page at Flourish Lashes. We have a ton of tips on there as well. But if you guys like this one, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back with something new next time. Bye.